Sometimes I'm like, so I stress on my life and then die? Like, is this what we're supposed to do? Just stress and work? And then it's like, great, you've had a good life.
See, that's the question. When you're young, you just want to make all this money. I want to make all the money because I want to get all the things, right? You get a little older in your life and then you start questioning, like, is this worth it? Like, this is a lot of stress. And yes, the money is great, but if I see this person's name in my inbox one more time, I might lose it.
Do I need to introduce myself? Am I going to get lower thirded here? Demi Diggs, first child.
Demi Diggs, first child?
Yes. I guess we could do what was your favorite age and why?
It would be like an age group, and it would probably be my 40s. I would say my 40s because, and I tell everybody this, young people are like, oh my God, I'm about to turn 30, or oh my God, I'm 39, I'm about to turn 40. I was like, I can't wait to turn 40 years old, because Oprah said 40s is the best years of your life. And I gotta say, completely eliminating anything that she said, 40s has definitely been the best so far.
And why would you say it was the best age?
I feel like you hit your stride, not just work-wise, but knowing who you are in relationships with, and also in work. And just learning what you are not good at, learning your boundaries. You and I have talked about balance before, and I swear I still struggle with balance in terms of work and relationships in life. So it's not balance. I haven't found that yet. But in terms of knowing more about myself, the things I like, the things I don't like, and my lack of a filter, which I feel is coming down a lot, and my, we don't want to curse on here, so my...
Giving an F?
Yes, there you go. The older I get, that just becomes so broken. Zero Fs. I've got zero. So I feel like in my 40s, I'm just getting better at saying no and having boundaries, knowing myself.
Why do you think it's 40s in particular?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I don't know. Like, being in my 40s and feeling this way, I'm curious, are my 50s better? Like, I feel like I'm establishing more boundaries. I feel like I'm getting better at saying no. I feel like I know myself better, and I'm getting better at, I'm not really feeling that, and speaking my mind. So I'm wondering, when I hit my 50s, like, am I going to be even better at it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it just continues.
Yeah. I think the other thing is, as you get older, you start to lose people. So I think that I've always been grateful for every day, but I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just has to do with the pandemic, but I just feel like you just get a lot more grateful the older you get that you just have today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like some people will talk about what they want to do on their 50th birthday. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm just happy to get to tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I think that with age and with losing people, unfortunately, but also with age, you just get more and more grateful while you're in this life, and you're in this appreciation. Everything just, with age, I find in my life, I am refining and honing, and it's just getting better and better with time.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way to say it.
I mean, that's good news, because the 20s are the pits. So I'm hoping 30s are better. And then it's good to know that 40s, because I think when you're younger, well, at least for me, I thought like once you hit a certain age, you have life figured out. But I am realizing that that's not the case at all.
No.
So I don't know, like maybe you're clay, and as you get older, like things just start to be chipped away until you finally see like your mold at, I don't know, I don't want to say at the end, because some people don't make it to the end.
I know, wouldn't that really suck? But I think you have to, in my mind, as I'm going away and chipping away, think of your life and my life as this mold. It's sitting on this pedestal and you're chipping away at it. And you just have to step back a little bit more often. Like step back and appreciate what you see and what you're doing and what you've done. Because, a lot of times for you can be so in your work and in your life. And, there are pitfalls and things that make you sad or make you happy, but sometimes just stop and step back. And that's kind of what I want you to do, definitely when you hit birthdays. Like, yes, you've gained another age, and you'll talk about sometimes the things that you haven't accomplished yet, but I'm like, just stop for a second and step back and look at the things that you have accomplished. You've been chipping away at Demi since last year. Look at what you've done just since last year. I think the progress is huge, and it's fun to see, and it's fun for us to watch. And I know that you don't see it as much as we do because you're too close to them. Yes.
What is the best, worst advice you've ever received? So we could do worst first and then best.
Best, worst advice I've ever received. Worst advice. I have no idea. Best advice. The one that comes to mind right now is my mom saying, "Don't sweat the small stuff." She's older now, and she's gone through many, many things in her life, and so when you get advice from older people, it's like they've walked in your shoes, they've been there already, and now they're looking back and saying, I've been where you are, and trust me, where I am, don't sweat that small stuff back there. So it's something that sticks with me that I haven't forgotten since she said it. And she said it recently. So that definitely sticks with me.
I would agree. I think sometimes I get so, in work, I get so anxious about something as small as, will I get this email out on time? If I don't get this email out on time, what's going to happen? And then it does, whatever happens, and I'm like, okay,
no one died.
No one died. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
I'm not, curing cancer.
Right.
So I do agree. I do think I forget that a lot of the time because I feel like because everything's so stressful, I'm always like, this is the end. If I don't do this, then everything is going to collapse. When it's it didn't happen, so it's fine. And I don't like when things are not orderly and don't go the way that I want them to go to. But when I look back, I'm like, does it really matter if I didn't get these photographs out on time? Did anyone die? I put myself through that stress for no reason, and then what happened? Nothing happened.
But not to say that you don't do your best at hitting deadlines and things like that. That's not 100%. What you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying if I do everything I can and things are out of my control,
right?
If it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen,
right?
And take the learnings for next time and keep it pushing instead of honing in on I cannot believe I didn't do this one thing,
right? And
making it feel like it's bigger than it really is.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think you're getting better at managing yourself and the stress. And I think that is coming from you can't sweat the things that you can't control because you're entirely too young to be as stressed as you are at times.
I agree. And my paycheck doesn't reflect the stress as well. If it did, maybe I wouldn't be as stressed, but who knows?
I don't know. I feel like people that are in your industry that have, let's say, 3 to 4 times your paycheck are like, no, girl, the stress is just as high. There's no one at that level saying, no, it's much easier at this level. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. But then sometimes I'm like, so I stress on my life and then die? Is this what we're supposed to do? Just stress and work? And then it's like, great, you've had a good life.
See, that's the question. When you're young, you just want to make all this money. I want to make all the money because I want to get all the things, right? You get a little older in your life, and then you start questioning, is this worth it? This is a lot of stress. And yes, the money is great, but if I see this person's name in my inbox one more time, I might lose it. Lose it.
It's that, and it's also how sometimes you can take a vacation, or when you are blessed to have a vacation. I'm on the vacation and I'm like, so we work 355 days out of the year for 10 days of vacation, and then that's what life is supposed to be.
Where you are right now, you're starting to question that. In my mind, that's when your life starts to pivot just a little bit. Is it worth it? Is there a way that I can wake up every day and do something that I enjoy, that doesn't stress me out? And let's say the answer is yes, but it doesn't come with that big paycheck. So now you really have to ask yourself, what's more important?
Is it the things, or is it the
peace of mind.
But I don't understand why you can't have both.
That's a very
life.
good question. It's a very good question. I don't want to say that you can't. Your dad and I had a conversation about having kids at an older age versus a younger age. And I was saying that it's difficult to have kids at an older age when you have all the money and you have the stability. You don't have it's not so much the time as it is the energy that it takes to raise kids, right? To be in all the things, be doing all the things. So that's kind of how it is. I don't want to say that, you can't have everything, be older and have all the energy and do all the things and be there all the time. I feel the same way when it comes to working. If you do what you love doing, then you can get paid for it and it's not stressful. It's not that stressful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus dealing with people that you don't like. There is this struggle with doing the 9 to 5, climbing the corporate ladder, making all the money, but I hate it. And sometimes I hate the people I work with. But I only get 5, or let's say you get 2 weeks a year. A year.
That's not enough time.
Right. So, okay, so maybe is there a way that I can do what I love doing and I don't need to be on vacation, but can I just enjoy what I'm doing without the stress?
Yeah, have
and
balance.
I'll take the less money. See, I would take less money to wake up every day without the stress. But some people, look at your face. I understand. I understand. And I'm not saying as you get older, you may feel like, yeah, I'm definitely going to take less money. No, as you get older, maybe be like, no, I like bigger things. I like more expensive things. I want to go on longer vacations. To each his own.
I know.
And I feel like that's part of life, figuring out who you are. And it's going to change, but I'm not saying it's going to change in the direction of less money. I'm just saying it's going to change. So, you're going to continue to chip away at Demi. And at 40, we'll see who you are at 40 and who you've morphed into. Favorite age. Oh, wait, was there a worst age? Because I would say
it's favorite age and why. I think you can do worst age too.
I would say I'd never go back to my 20s. Just because I feel like in my 20s, you don't really know who you think you know who you are, but you really don't know who you are. You haven't established, for all the reasons I love my 40s and can't wait to get to my 50s is the reasons that I don't love my 20s. The only thing is you're so small, you have so much energy and you have your youth, which is great.
Yeah.
But the 40s, the 30s you're learning, the 40s you start to hit your stride. I don't know how else to say it.
What does stride mean? I don't even know what your stride is.
Okay. Remember when you were playing soccer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so remember when you kind of started playing goalie?
Oh my God. That was the worst. I literally didn't know anything.
That's your 20s.
Oh my God.
That's your 20s. Okay.
I feel like remember, I was being beat up every day.
By your senior year?
Yeah, I was
you were
ducking
in the
and
newspaper.
jiving.
You were in the newspaper. You were doing great. You had hit your stride. That's your 40s.
Well, I have 15 years. So then what is the 30s then in that analogy?
In my mind, that your 30s
is it better at least?
You're learning. You're like, oh, okay, so don't do this, don't do that. Don't do this, do this instead. Okay, got it. Now you're practicing. And then by your 40s, you're like, I think I'm good at this. I think I'm good at this.
Okay.
That's how I see 40s versus 30s versus 20s.
Yeah, because I thought 20s were supposed to be the best because you have very little responsibility. You can do what you want. You can be where you want. But that's not the case because you got to pay bills and you got to I would say college. I would say if I had to talk about my favorite age thus far, being only 27, I would say the sweet spot of college because you got freedom. What are those people? It's like you're on the thing and then you're swinging back and forth. It's trapezing.
Okay, the trapeze
with the net.
Okay.
So
that's your 20s?
That's I would say that's college.
That's
you're
college.
trapezing with the net because if you don't have money, you're cool. I don't pay bills, so if I have $10 in my pocket, I'm chilling. I'll hit the net, but I'll be fine.
And there's calf. I mean, I'm not gonna starve.
Exactly. And you have responsibility in terms of get your work done, do this, but it's not like if you don't do this, then like you won't eat, your bills won't be paid.
Right.
I feel like your 20s, the net has been taken completely away, and you're trapezing, and you're just kind of like, oh my God, I hope I don't fall.
Please don't let me fall.
Please don't let me fall. So I thought like once I got out of college, I was like, yes, this is about to be everything. I can finally drink. Drinking isn't everything.
I'm real grown now. I'm real grown.
Exactly.
Like,
real grown comes with grown responsibilities.
Right. Like college is practicing grown, but like 20s, I'm in my apartment now. I'm real grown.
And someone is like, hey, you have to pay me the first of every month to live. I remember talking to my roommate and I was like, so we really have to pay to just exist? Like, I just have to pay to exist. It's the having to feed myself.
Yep.
I have to get up every day and think about what I'm going to eat.
Yep.
Oh my God, the 20s are the worst. Like, the 20s are I didn't really realize that until maybe when I was in a rut of like doing the same thing. Get up, commute, go to work, go home, go to sleep, get up, go to work. Like, being in that revolving circle was like,
is this what I've been working for?
That's what I'm saying. This is what I was excited to get to. This is what everyone's life in between Instagram. I'm not someone who's into Instagram, but like when you see snapshots of people's life, you're like, oh my God, their life is so glamorous. Meanwhile, they are commuting every single day, going to work, maybe going to the gym, and doing the same cycle over and over again. So you start to like, I've been starting to question like, is this cycle is what I want my life to be?
Like the movie, is this as good as it gets?
Yeah, that's what sometimes it feels like that when you're like this is it. I mean, yeah, like getting married and having kids, but then that's another thing I have to figure out. That's probably like, now I have someone depending on me. It's not just me in terms of like, now I have to like,
you hate cooking for yourself.
I hate cooking for me. I cannot imagine like someone looking at me like,
where's dinner?
It's 12. We haven't had lunch or breakfast.
Yep.
Like, and then looking at me in 4 hours, like, can I eat again? And I'm like, listen, I can go through the day with one meal and that's it. But yeah, I would say the 20s are the pits. I'll check back in 3 years when I hit 30. Hopefully it's better.
But please don't walk into 30. Don't open up the door to 30 like, okay, this better be great.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, as soon as 11:59 on August 1st, 3 years from now, I'm going to be like, whoo, okay, now we made it
Done
out.
with that, took off the 20s code, now I'm in my 30s, this better be great.
I hope I don't walk in and I'm like, it's the same thing.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, that's very similar to a female who's like, oh my God, I'm his fiance, can't wait to get married. You cross the threshold, you get married, and you're like, this is it? Like, what did you think was going to change? Whatever happened yesterday is going to happen today. They don't just magically change. It doesn't work like that.
So
there are the people who are going to, you know, like the rom-com novels. And then there's, this is not how it works, honey. This is not at all how it works.
I'm holding on to the rom-com novel.
I'm telling you now to let go of the rom-com novels. Burn them.
I'm still investigating. We'll see.
No. That's not a thing.
Next question. What has been the most significant historical U.S. or world history event in your life, and why?
Obama becoming president. Definitely. Us getting a black president. First black president. So for me, that was huge. I can't think of any other. Don't get me wrong. There was September 11th. So you don't want to discount the things that happened, the tragedies that happened, but I want to submit my answer as something that was positive.
Crazy thing is, when I was younger, I don't think I realized the significance of it. Like, I was, of course, happy. I was like, oh yeah, the black guy won. The white guy didn't win. But I don't think I realized it until I got to vote for him. I think the first time I voted was able to vote for him for the second time. And I think the older I get, the more significant I realize. Because I remember you guys had me stay back from school, like, to watch the inauguration, and I was like, what?
Why
am I watching this dude talk for 50 minutes about something I have nothing to do with?
And could care less.
Yeah. Ironically, now I care a lot about those things.
Yes.
So looking back at how significant that is, I wish I understood and I savored it more, because, I mean, I think I only got to, like, be cognizant for 4 years of his presidency, but everything that ensued after, I was like, oh, that was very significant. And something that people didn't think would ever happen in their lifetime,
Right.
let alone as soon
As
it did.
Do you think that you got into politics because he was in office?
No, I would say if we're talking about the most significant historical event in my life, besides the pandemic, I think that's probably been
That's huge, yeah.
huge for everyone. I would say Trump becoming president was probably the most significant, because I think that was my turning point of, oh, things are not what it perceives to be, what I perceive everything to be. Like, I thought everyone in general was a good person. Everyone in general wasn't racist. Everyone in general wanted the good for everyone. But then he won, and I was like, oh.
The world changed.
The world changed, and I would say I think there was a veneer because he was president. So, like, we were like, oh, this is a good thing. We're moving towards progress. But a part of me was like, was that a rude awakening for people who don't have the same beliefs in us and who are kind of like, wait a minute, this is not what we want and what we signed up for. So I think being someone who went to, I would say, a liberal college and seeing someone with those kind of extreme ideals become president was a rude awakening for me. And I think that made me like tune in hard. Like, now I realize I can't be
Because you were watching
passive.
Rachel Maddow, like,
Rachel was
hard.
everything she said. I was like, oh, did you hear Rachel today? Did you hear what she said? It made me realize, being a black woman in this society, I cannot be passive, because every bad thing, every bad legislation, that's most likely going to affect me. If we're talking about like who's getting hit with bad legislation and how it trickles down, it's most likely going to like come for people who look like me. So I would probably say that was the most, I think, in a positive way, because it made me become more of an active participant in our like political society, and wanting to understand like, what is gerrymandering, how does it affect us, what is like voting, and how they're like, just all that stuff. Just wanting to be more knowledgeable in terms of like what's happening, and how can I be an active participant and, you know, try.
And the rules that are going to be set for the rest of, well, not the rest of your life, but the next 4 years of my life.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So I would say him, unfortunately, that's like the doomsday option, but
that's very interesting that you chose that one, but I understand why you did at the same time.
I was distraught. It's kind of like getting water thrown on you when you're like, oh, maybe we were all kind of in a distorted reality. And then he came on the scene, and
you say water, I say fire.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. We should do this more often.
Yeah, we should. We should definitely do this more often. Next time, please have snacks in the green room. The green room did not have any snacks.
Okay, production.